It's May 26th, 1828, in the city of Nuremberg, Germany. The usual rustle and bustle of a city could be heard, and somewhere within that scene, a young boy appeared. At first glance, he could be seen as a normal boy, but as he approached someone, it quickly became apparent that something was not normal. He handed over 2 letters, which were addressed to a cavalry captain. The anonymous writer claimed to be a poor laborer with 10 children of his own. According to the letter, the boy had been left in his care in October of 1812. The writer said he had raised the children in complete secrecy. He taught them Christianity and how to read and write. And then, the most shocking line. Since 1812, I have not let him take 1 step outside the door. But now, he decided to let the boy go, since he wished to become a cavalryman. The second letter was supposedly written by the boy's mother. It stated that his name was Kaspar, born on April 30th, 1812. His father, so claimed the letter, had been a cavalry soldier from the 6th Regiment and was now dead. But when this letter was investigated, it seemed that both letters had been written using the same ink. And on closer look, it even appeared that they have been written by the same person. The boy was then handed over to authorities, who realized that the boy, looking maybe around 16 years old, seemed deeply overwhelmed by almost everything. Light, sound, social behavior, all that seemed too much for him. He was placed inside a prison tower, where he would eat almost nothing besides bread. Everyone who wanted to visit the boy was allowed to, so, like an animal in the zoo, the young boy became a spectacle. But over the next couple of months, he received education on reading, writing, and drawing. So through those means, he was able to tell his own story. Kaspar claimed that he had lived nearly his entire life inside a tiny, dark room. He never met another human besides a mysterious man who gave him a small ration of bread and water daily. He never got a good glance at the man and also never really communicated with him. This can be seen in Kaspar's limited amount of verbal use when he arrived in Nuremberg. So naturally, people started to theorize and make wild stories. If true, this story would be horrifying. So quickly, the boy became a spectacle across Europe. Some couldn't believe his story, others thought him fascinating. So naturally, people started to theorize and make up wild stories about him. And there's one in particular which changed everything. People believed Kaspar to be the missing heir of the noble house of Baden. According to this theory, a royal baby had been secretly removed and replaced so others could seize power. On October 17, 1829, Kaspar claimed that he was attacked by a hooded man. Allegedly, this stranger told him that you still have to die before you leave the city of Nuremberg. Kaspar claimed that he recognized the voice as that of the mysterious man who had first brought him to the city. And of course, this incident caused alarm, so the authorities assigned him to a police guard and moved him into the care of a local official. But again, not everyone believed that this attack really took place. Suspicions rose that Kaspar staged this attack for sympathy and to escape any criticism. But just several months later, on the 3rd of April 1830, another incident took place. A gunshot rang out of Kaspar's room. When his escorts rushed inside, they found the boy unconscious and bleeding from a head wound. After regaining consciousness, Kaspar explained that he climbed onto a chair to retrieve a book. The chair supposedly tipped over, and while trying to steady himself, he accidentally grabbed a pistol hanging on the wall, causing it to discharge. Again, this sparked a lot of discussion. The family he was living with described him as being deceitful, vain, and skilled at dissimulation. So, might he have staged these incidents to get onto their good side again? An important person in Kaspar's life was Philip Henry Stanhope, an English nobleman, fascinated by unusual psychological and political cases. He provided financial support, arranged tutors, and promised to investigate Kaspar's origins. But over time, the man also grew skeptical and started having negative feelings towards the boy, viewing him as deceptive and a possible liar. He believed Kaspar might have invented parts of his story. So eventually, he distanced himself from Kaspar after exploiting his sensational case for curiosity and prestige. The collapse of this relationship devastated Kaspar emotionally. As the years passed, Kaspar's identity remained a mystery. He lived a quiet life, and there was never any damning evidence proving that he was of royal birth or that he truly spent his entire childhood as a prisoner. On the 14th of December 1833, Kaspar returned home from the court gardens with a severe stab wound to his chest. He said that a stranger invited him to the garden with promises of revealing information about his true origins. Upon meeting, the man supposedly handed him a purse, stabbed him, and fled. He died from the wound 3 days later, on 17th of December 1833. When the police searched the gardens where the incident took place, they discovered a small violet purse containing a note written in mirror script. The message declared that Kaspar would be able to describe the attacker exactly, but the writer wished to identify himself instead. The note claimed its author came from near the Bavarian border and held the initials MLÖ. But the story seemed inconsistent. The note held grammatical issues similar to Kaspar's own writing. Medical examiners concluded that the chest wound could have been self-inflicted. There are different theories about why he might have done it, but we will never know. Even in death, the uncertainty surrounding Kaspar Hauser remains unsolved. So, what was more disturbing? The fact that Kaspar appeared mysteriously, or that he appeared without society? 19th century Europe looked at Kaspar and saw something almost impossible. A human being seemingly untouched by civilization, by society, by norms. The boy claimed that he grew up in darkness, separated from language, culture, family, religion, from every institution believed to make a person human. But wasn't he actually the poster child for Jean-Jacques Rousseau's theory, since he believed that civilization corrupted mankind? Somewhere beneath society, he argued, there existed a more innocent, natural man, unspoiled by power, vanity, and artificial morality. His thinking was very radical, since many of the 18th century Enlightenment thinkers believed that civilized society made humanity better. But Rousseau believed that society creates vanity, inequality, competition, shame, and alienation. One of his most famous lines is, "Man is born free, and everywhere he is in chains." And this sentiment seems to be relevant for Kaspar, because he enters society without a social identity, and slowly becomes consumed by how others perceive him. Didn't he enter Nuremberg as natural, but then quickly civilization transformed him into a performance? In trying to discover who Kaspar was, Europe might have destroyed the very authenticity it hoped to find. So we'll never truly figure out the real identity of Kaspar, where he came from, how much of his story was fact and what was fiction. We might never know if he was a victim, a fraud, a traumatized child, or something in between. He came to the city without a clear label, so the people living there produced an identity for him. Society likes to create categories, labels, norms, and narratives that people are forced to inhabit. He got called so many things: a wild child, the lost prince, a liar, someone innocent, a madman. He lived 200 years ago, but his story still feels real to this day. because it might shine a light on the question: how much of our life is created by other people?